Next up is Jennifer Phillips April. So Jennifer, please join me on the stage here. Let's see. And while Jennifer is getting her stuff together, things to know about Jen. So she's a B2B tech writer, and her reader-focused approach incorporates audience research and the sales cycle for actionable content. So Jen is here. Welcome, welcome. And I'm going to drop off. And so Jen, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me get my slides up so that we can see those. Hopefully this is going to work flawlessly. So far it hasn't come in yet. Okay. This isn't working now, is it? I promise I practiced this and it worked well. Just a moment there. All right, I think we're in now, right? Does everyone see my slides? Yes? Are we? Okay, perfect. So, yes, today I want to talk about stories, positioning with the stories specifically, because that is such an important part of your copywriting. How you position your company, how you connect, it makes all the difference between connecting with your customers versus not connecting with your customers, right? So, slides are not working here. So today I want to talk about pocket-sized stories. This is a simple technique that is deceptively simple, really. It's a way you can go through the process and apply it to your features, to every one of your features, to pull out those benefits, because we all need to work on those benefits, right? And sometimes it's not obvious. They're not like golden nuggets lying on the ground. It's like, oh, well, that's what it is. Instead, we have to really think about it and ask, talk to other people, like our customers, talk to the sales team, talk to project managers, talk to other people within the company and outside the company to really pull those out, and it can really take a little bit of digging. But then once you have them, then those can really turn into pocket-sized stories that you can use throughout your copywriting. Sorry, my slides are not advancing. So let me just briefly go over positioning. I'm sure you're very familiar with it, but it's really all about your uniqueness in the company and how you stand out and what makes you different, what makes your product or service different from all the others that are out there, and why do your customers connect with you? Like, how can you create raving fans out of your customers? Because kind of that's what we want, right? And part of that is looking at the before and after. I mean, copywriting often talks about making the transformation. How do you make a transformation from where you are here to where you are there? And the weight loss industry comes to mind, as they're huge, and they do that very, very well. But a lot of SaaS companies do it as well also. And one of the techniques that I found that works really well is the so what technique, and I'll go through that in just a moment. But finding that helps you find those pocket-sized stories that you can then use and the people will remember. Yeah, briefly, I'm Jen, and I write for B2B SaaS companies, and I have a background in sales and journalism and research that I use to really dig into your stories and into your business model, so that we can make those connections with customers. And I like dogs and books at the beach. So what's a pocket-sized story? A pocket-sized story is something succinct. It's very short, usually. One of the examples you may remember is this is a picture of an iPod. And so many years ago, the iPod was created, but it was not the first MP3 player. It was not the first portable device for MP3 files. There was another company prior to that, and they advertised themselves as having 5 gigabytes. But what does that mean? 5 gigabytes. 5 gigabytes of what? What is that going to do for me? So the brilliancy of Apple, of course, was that it came out and was just like, it's 1,000 songs in your pocket. Well, now we're getting somewhere, right? Now that makes sense. Now I have a clear benefit. That feature of the 5 gigabytes is now 1,000 songs in my pocket. Now I want that. I don't want the 5 gigabytes. I don't know what that is. That doesn't do anything for me. So showing that transformation is so important to bringing your story to life. And that's what I mean by a pocket-sized story. In this case, you can literally put it in your pocket. But it's really clear. It's short, it's succinct, it's to the point. It creates an image in your head. And a lot of copywriting is really great when you can create an image in your head, the person can see what they're going to get out of that. So how do you find such stories? Well, you ask questions. I mean, being curious is a good thing. Using even if you just think of the basic journalism technique of who, what, why, where, and how, I mean, that can really help you to distill some of those features into the benefits, especially if you have features that are heavy on technical aspects like 5 gigabytes. Like, what does that really mean? And so when you start asking questions of that, then that can help drill down. So the so what technique can help with this. Does anyone use this already? I mean, I'd love to hear from you if you have, and drop a note in the comments. Excuse me just a moment. So the so what technique is literally so what? Well, so what? That's 5 gigabytes. So what? The car industry is famous for doing talking about the brakes, the features of the brakes, the ABS or the disc brakes. Again, that's like the 5 gigabytes. It doesn't really, you don't necessarily know what that even means, or so you don't care. What you care about is that the car stops when you want it to stop. The car stops when you press your foot on the brake pedal. That's what you want. So when that is in the copy, then that is really very useful for you. A very recent example that I like a lot is Signal. Signal, the app, it's encrypted software, right? So WhatsApp was purchased by Facebook a bit ago, and it's become less and less secure. And so people are concerned about security. And this ad from Signal really struck me as really kind of funny. And then you don't know if you can actually really see it that well. But with the headline grabs your attention. I think the headline grabs your attention. Maybe you don't, but I think it really, we don't care about you. Like, who would say that? Who would say that? But we don't care about you. And if you can read the smaller print, it says, and we don't care about your pets. And we don't care about the gossips. And we don't care what you want to buy for the season. We don't care about any of it. All we care about is how to make Signal more private, secure, and fast. That sounds like a good thing, right? And we really, really don't have time to listen to your conversations. I like that headline, and I like that last sentence. We really, really, really don't have time to listen to your conversations, because that is exactly like you want to use, if you're going to use this, an app that you don't want to have all your private data out there for the entire world to see, then you want to know that they're focused on other things. That's what they do. Here's another example. This one's from the SaaS industry. We have, so for example, you have the iPhone there, and you have the little icons and the different benefits. So it's an appointment book, an inventory tracking, automated email and text. These things, well, they're benefits, but they're really kind of features because they're not really built out yet. People often they don't necessarily think through these things. I mean, even your customers, even your best customers may not say, oh, I love this thing because it does X. It might just say, well, it makes my life easier. And then you might have to ask a few more questions. Well, that's great. How does it make your life easier? Can you give me an example of how it makes your life easier? And they're going to come in and they're going to say, yeah, or, well, and a lot of times they'll tell you a story, and that's where the gold is, right? So you listen to those stories, and you can write them down, you can make notes, you can record the call if you're talking to them, but then you have those to draw on, and then that can become part of your copywriting, and that's really, really helpful when you can give those real life examples. So, for example, I was talking to a customer of one of my clients in their software company. My client's a software company, a few months ago, and they sell a scheduling product, and their customer that I was interviewing was he started telling me about the automated email and text and what time saver that was. Now you might just think, yes, that makes sense. They're dog grooming salons, so they have appointments, and the dogs come in, the dogs get picked up. So with the automated email and text, they can Send the reminders a day or two ahead of time and say, hey, Fluffy's appointment is on Thursday at 2, don't forget. And then they can also send the reminder that the dog needs to be picked up when the dog is ready. He said that particular piece of the software could save a grooming salon, $70,000 a year, US dollars, which I found astonishing. Because, why? Because it reduces no-shows. If people make appointments, they forget. They get busy, or last minute, like, I'm going to cancel that appointment. Not if they got the reminder, the day before, 2 days before, and an hour before. However you set it up, you might have send out 3 reminders. But it reduces no-shows so much that it can put $70,000 a year back into the business for one particular groomer. And that would be if you were imagine if you had 5 groomers and, multiply that. So it makes a big difference. And that's just one benefit. So automated email and text might sound, well, that might be okay. It reduces no-shows and can bring you an extra $70,000 a year. That's just one quick example. It also destroys perceived obstacles. So and that's one of our goals as copywriters, is to destroy perceived obstacles, right? And that might sound like, oh, big language, but like a little harsh. It's really, but your customers are always reading things and they're thinking, I don't have time, they're in distracted mode, right? Aren't we all distracted? We've all got a million things going on. So a lack of time, they might look at your service and think, that might sound interesting, but I don't know that I have time to implement that. Maybe we think it's going to be too expensive. Maybe we don't have the resources in-house to do it. A million things that you could be thinking about that could come into play. And so your goal is to destroy those perceived obstacles, within your copywriting, right? And the so what really helps you get there. So if you're talking to your clients, if you're talking to the sales team, and just keep asking that, well, so what does that do for you? So what does it matter if we have automated email? We think it's cool, but how does that help you? So if you keep applying that over and over again, it can really help you kind of get to the crux of the matter, so that you are going, yes, I got it. This is gold. And then you can, keep a file of these things. And then you can use them again, right? Here's another one that I had pulled out. So this is from Evernote, the note-taking app. And I actually went back to the Wayback Machine. I think it was in 2013. That their tagline, or their headline at the time, was "Remember Everything," and that was this bottom one here. Remember everything, which is pretty useful. I want to remember more. I want to be able to find it, though. That's really kind of my. It's not just about remembering it; it's remembering and being able to track it down. So then their current headline is "Accomplish More with Better Notes." And then the subhead is Evernote helps you capture ideas and find them fast. That is really intriguing to me, because I want to capture ideas and I want to find them fast. Like those are key for me, and probably for many of you too. You have ideas, you're going to be writing something, in a week, or you're researching a particular industry and you're kind of pulling together maybe some statistics or some examples. You want to be able to find them again and use them when it's time. So. And many SaaS companies have, there are general ones, right? So better customer service, improved employee productivity, lower IT costs. These come up a lot, over and over again. So how can you translate something that's kind of generic like that into something that is more useful and concrete and specific? Well, that's where you apply the so what technique. So better customer service, for example, can turn into 24/7 customer service, which assures you get your questions answered in 10.9 seconds. I made that up, obviously. But if you can put in specific numbers, that increases your trustworthiness. People take note of that, and they go, oh, well, they must have some data that backs this up, because you don't make up the numbers typically unless you're just making an example. But if you're writing your copy, then you want to have a true example. And so you can say, guess what? This, our average wait time for or answer time, question to answer time, is 10.9 seconds. Brilliant. Okay, or maybe it's less. I don't know. But so if you can maybe even find a customer that will tell you this, Or at this point you have data that you can be tracking everything, and you can, if you're doing like a chatbot or chat window, then you're going to know how many seconds it is. So you could actually say that, and that makes it more real and makes it more useful, and it helps your customer, the person who's reading it. It helps them, your prospect, it helps them trust you more. Because building trust is important. Building trust is a huge part of helping someone become mildly interested to taking interest in becoming a customer, whether that means they're taking it to their boss, or whether they're the decision maker and ready to buy it right then. You can also apply it to something that's kind of general, like improved employee productivity, and turn that into saves an average of 5 hours a week of administrative time, or saves, there's so many productivity tools out there now, and every one of them is a little bit different. Some of them target teams, some of them target like the single user. So, but the end of the goal is it keeps me organized and it saves me time, right? That's what I want when I go to when I'm looking for a productivity tool. And then you can apply it to your to something general like lowers IT costs. You can apply the so what technique to absolutely anything at all. Lowers IT costs, again, if you could be specific, if you could say something like saves up to $72,000, $500,000 a year in IT costs, whatever it may be. That is really going to make someone take note, because companies want to lower IT costs, but they may not have. That's kind of general. That is very general. There's not we want to lower IT costs by whatever. We want to lower IT costs by, you don't even know what's possible in many cases. So show them what's possible. And with this particular customer, we lowered IT cases by, or lowered IT costs by $72,000 a year. Like, that's what's possible. Obviously, every individual company is different, but that's the goal. So being specific helps people put a sort of like hang a little hat on the peg, if you will. And it really makes it clear. It makes it more concrete. So in brief, you can use these pocket-sized stories anywhere. You can use them in your web copy, in your email sequences, in your landing pages. You can use them in your ads. You can use these stories if you get them succinct enough, or elements of, because this is what's going to target specific customer spots in the customer journey, specific types of customers. If you have different types of personas that you're targeting, there may be, in many cases, you have multiple people who are going to be making a decision, right? B2B environment, they're going to be making a decision, but somebody might be coming in and bringing an idea to the table. So, it could even be an entry-level person going, hey, I saw this and this is going to be really useful, or I thought it was interesting. And so you're going to have multiple people who are with different backgrounds and experiences looking at this and considering how we can use this for our tools. So you can be, once you have them, you can even create, I even see that you could create this in like a little database, like even a Google Drive, and just be like, okay, these are 5 of our top stories that people have said that they really care about, and it answers XYZ objections. Like, I really think that you could put that into a database or into your Google Drive and just share it. Share it amongst the team, share it amongst any outsourced copywriters, because it's just add it to your personas. It really adds to flesh out what your customers care about and what they're concerned about. Does that make sense? I would love to hear from you in the comments there. My talk this morning was short, 15 minutes, but I thank you so much for being here, and I hope that was useful. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Thank you for letting me know the slides are up.
Thank you very much, Jen. Thank you very much. Okay, do we have any questions for Jen? While people are thinking if they have any questions, what is your favorite go-to examples for SaaS copywriting? Meaning, like, which sites are like good examples?
Oh, well, there's so many good examples. I use HubSpot a lot. Let me think. Now nothing comes to mind, right? Ahrefs. I mean, I like, that's a great resource for SEO. Oh, there's so many good software
Mhm.
examples, and now it's just like escaping my mind.
Sure,
But
sure, sure. It's like tell a joke. Sorry to put you on the spot there. All
yeah.
right, Jen. Thank you very much. We'll see you on the internet somewhere.
Okay. Thank you so much.